What's up? I'm back, and today, this is technically part 2 or part 1.2 or whatever you want to call it, but this is my side of the NASCAR playoff debate that me and Brian are doing. We've done a lot of debates over the years. This is my take on it. I'm vouching for the 1970-something to the 2003 format. The one where the most points through the end of the season wins, regardless of any playoff implications or anything like that. Neither of us are arguing for the 2004 to 2016 format, both of those, 2004 format and the 2014 format, because at least we both agree on that point that they both sucked. And robbed Jeff Gordon of becoming a great legend. Well, he's already a great legend, but even greater legend in the sport. Anyway, that's not really the point. So I'm going to give some of my points today on why I think the first system, the first real sanctioned system, I think, the one that came around near the beginning of the modern era, which is started in 1972, which I think should be changed. The modern era is definitely not starting in 1972. I'd say more in the 90s, something like that, maybe 80s. But that's a completely different discussion. But here's some of my points on why it is the better system out of them all. And the first one is the most obvious, in that it rewards your performance through the overall season, not through a certain portion of the season. So take this in consideration. The 2011 championship battle between Tony Stewart and Carl Edwards. Carl Edwards only had one win all season. It was at Las Vegas early in the year. But he was super consistent. I only think he only had one DNF all year. But he was super consistent, finishing in the top 5, getting points and everything. And he was the perfect favorite for the championship going into the chase. Well, here comes Tony Stewart, who barely squeaked into the chase. He got like 11th or 12th. He got one of the wild card spots. He's like 11th. He barely squeaks in. And then he wins 5 out of 10 races and wins the championship. Mathematically, though, he shouldn't have even been a factor even with the 5 wins, because he was too far behind Edwards anyways. Edwards was too consistent. He gained enough points to where he had enough of a buffer where he didn't have to win them all in order to win. But so that didn't reward. It rewarded Stewart being mediocre at best through the first 26 races, to now in the final 10 he gets to wins 5 races all of a sudden and wins the championship. Meanwhile, Edwards, who grinded throughout the entire season, gets nothing. Same could go for even like the 2007 championship. I mean, Jeff Gordon was the clear favorite to win the championship. He had like 6 wins that year too. He even won some races, but mathematically he should even have the championship clinched at Texas, not at Phoenix or at Homestead, but at Texas. That's how good he was. And no, Jimmy Johnson, 10 victories, gets the championship after winning 4 straight in the chase to pass him. So it's things like that. That's like, you can't, the chase system rewards winning over rewarding consistency. One guy, somebody who performed really well all season but didn't win a race, could not win the championship over somebody who did really crap all season except for the final few races, and then gets the champion, wins at Homestead, wins the championship. Tell me how the hell that is fair. Because I don't think it is. But so instead, the original system, it rewarded consistency. You take a look at the 2003 championship, Matt Kenseth. He only had one win. Again, it was at Las Vegas. But he was super consistent. He had such a large point buffer that even though he got 2 DNFs in like the last 3 or 4 races of the season, he was fine. He had the championship clinched at the second last race of the season, Rockingham. Even though he had 2 blown engines late in the season, it didn't matter. He did fine. He had enough points, he had enough buffer, and that showed that you can work through the entire season and get enough points to where you don't need to perform well in the final part of the race to get the win. And I think that is something that NASCAR needs to do. They need to reward consistency over winning, because winning does not necessarily mean you're consistent. Take a look at that same year, 2003. Kansas only won one win. He was the champion that year. Ryan Newman had 8 wins. He wasn't even a factor for the championship that year. 8, by far the most wins out of anybody that season, and he wasn't even close to being a factor for the championship that year. You know why? Because he was inconsistent. He was either in the fence or he was in victory lane. It didn't matter. Anyway, moving on. So another point that I have is basically that the chase system, well, the playoff system. Okay, when some may say anyway, provides better racing or this everything like that. No, it does not provide better racing. Okay, the racing has been pretty good, I would say. Maybe 2020 this year has been some pretty good racing, every now and then. 2018 had some good moments, so did 2019. They all have their moments, and there's some more than others. 2014 was a really good season, had one of the best car packages they've seen since in the Gen 6 era. But you take a look at but you don't need a restructured point system to have better racing, okay? What they need to do is they need to fix the cars. You take a look at the racing in the 90s and the 2000s before 2004. The racing was great. The racing was exciting. It was tight. It was tense. It was excellent. Week in and week out. There you go. They were not fighting for any wins. They were fighting for half of them weren't even fighting for a championship. Take a look at 2000. The championship was a clear runaway for both Bobby Labonte and Dale Earnhardt. They're the only ones that had any shot at winning the championship that year. Yet the racing was excellent. It was magnificent outside of the Daytona 500, but that's a completely different story. And so that shows you don't need great racing in order. You don't need a good playoff system in order to have great racing. Another thing I don't like is the stages, okay? The stages make it so where somebody who finishes, say, I think 9th or 10th or something, can get more points than the guy who won the thing. How is that fair? Huh? It just makes it, and you prize great racing, And this next point is going to apply more to the late tracks than anything else. You got guys that have good cars and they're up front late in the stage, and they're doing great and stuff. So then they come down and they're coming to the end of the stage and they want points, and so they wreck. All of them are done. They don't even get the stage points, and their championships could be at held because they just got a DNF. Taking out guys that, probably had a shot to win the thing. They're fighting for points that shouldn't even be a thing. You shouldn't award points. It's segmented racing. You shouldn't even award points during the race. Got rid of the need to lead laps, to run up front, because you can now just run inside the top 10 for the first couple stages and then back off and be fine for the rest of the race and finish 25th and be happy with it. Who wants to be happy with finishing in 25th? Who wants that? And you get, whatever people want to think, but stage racing is horrible. Okay? It's bad. Even in some of the worst things. You take out all these great wrecks and stuff, that provides better racing. I like big wrecks, okay? I like big ones, but I don't like them early in the race or in the middle of the race. I like them at the end of the race when they're coming down to the final laps and you're trying to see who's going to win the entire race, That's when it's good. You need to have that. And what stages also did is it took away the need to lead laps. There used to be bonus points for leading a lap or leading the most laps. So drivers in the back would play a strategy where they'd stay out to lead laps and get bonus points. Or some people would fight to get in the lead and try and lead the most laps, win the championship. That's how the 1992 championship, by the way, the most exciting championship battle in NASCAR history, the 1992 championship, under the format I'm trying to argue for right now, it was decided by one thing. It was that tight, decided by who led the most laps. That's the fight. In the last few laps, that's what Bill Elliott and Alan Quigley were fighting for. Was fighting for who could lead the most laps. Now you couldn't do that under this current format. Okay. And that really sucks. Okay, because like, why? Why would you take that away? Why would you take away a reward for leading the most laps? Now it doesn't even matter if you lead a lap until you lead the lap. You could just lead the last lap. You can run 20th all day and then stay out and stay out on a late pit stop and rob everybody else by wrecking the whole field on a restart and getting a win. Like, where's the fairness in that? Okay. Another one I want to talk about is the championship itself, like the championship race. Because I think it's complete bullshit what they're doing there. You got 4 guys fighting for the championship every year. Meanwhile, they've got some other formats. This is 1992 again, 6 drivers coming with a mathematical chance to win the championship. Now they only have where 4 guys can go fight for the championship. Okay. And there's not even any points implications. If you wreck if a 60 lap down guy blows a tire right in front of you, takes you out, you're done for the night. You can't even have a points buffer. You don't even have a buffer for your stage points or leading a lap or anything like that. You don't get any of that anymore because some Rick Ware guy blows a tire and murders you right there on the racetrack, and then boom, your championship is over. You're good. You're done. All for nothing. 35 races of grinding and tears and sweat and the oil and everything gone in an instant, and nobody even cares because everybody likes the system. Nobody likes the system. Okay, except for a few that are trying to be nice and adapt to the changes. That's why they need to have points back. Okay, at least have points buffers and stuff to make it more exciting. But that's why I don't like the system. It doesn't provide consistency. Nothing provides consistency. You make the consistency. I didn't mean to say that. It doesn't reward consistency. It rewards winning, which is not always consistency. It doesn't necessarily be the sole factor for great racing, and it robs people it can take away, and it robs people's chances when they necessarily don't need to be robbed. That's what I'm going to say. I don't know how long Brian's part is, but we're going to be doing a merger, or we're going to be rebuting each other, I guess. I don't know when that's actually going to come out. But until then, guys, see you guys later. Goodbye.